Hello and welcome to the programme. On February the 27th, on the 5th anniversary of the occupation of Crimea, the Ministry of Justice of Ukraine, together with the Prosecutor's Office of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea, launched an educational campaign within the framework of the project called I Have a Right. One of the aims of the campaign is to promote the protection of the rights of those citizens living in the Russian-occupied peninsula. To talk more about this, we are joined in the studio today by Stanislav Kutsenko, head of the Kyiv Territory's Justice Department. Hello, thank you so much for coming in today.
Hello.
So firstly, I had to look at the website before we started the interview, and really it's an extensive programme, but I wanted to focus firstly on the rights of people who are living in Crimea. So what is your main aim with this project, and how are you going to reach out to Ukrainians who live in Crimea and need information about their rights?
So first of all, about the whole project, I Have a Right, and then about Crimeans. This project was launched 2 years ago with initiative of Minister of Justice Pavlo Petrenko, and the aim of project is to raise awareness and the knowledge of people on their rights and the methods of protection of their rights. We take different spheres: it's violence, it's alimonies, domestic violence and other rights. And in frame of this project, we start more and more initiatives. For example, this initiative concerning Crimea, it's quite important right now, because you are quite right that we have anniversary of occupation of Crimea, and we have a lot of cases when rights are broken, that are breached of people, and we need to provide people who live on peninsula Crimean the mechanisms of protection their rights. Among them, how to protect themselves against tortures, what to do if you are forced to go to Russian army, what to do if you are imprisoned and don't have a right, for example, to study in Ukrainian school in Ukrainian language. So this campaign will help people to understand how to protect these rights.
And is there quite a demand for this sort of information from Ukrainians who are living in Crimea?
Actually, there is demand. That's why we have started this campaign in frame of I Have a Right campaign, educational. And for example, people would wonder how to protect their rights and where to appeal. We have prosecutors' offices of Crimea in Kyiv and in Kherson. So in Kyiv, on Dilova Street 24, or through phone calls on the website, phone numbers, people can apply with their information and tell the information how their rules are broken. And also it can be done in Kherson. It is near to occupied territory. There are offices of Prosecutors General Office, of National Police and Secret Service of Ukraine. So people can go there and tell about their problems. But also it is possibility to call to United phone line. It is 0800 213 300.
And people can find all this information on the website. Actually, what I thought was actually interesting with the website was that it didn't appear to be just an information portal where people read and that's it. There's a lot of steps on there. So say, for example, if someone wants to call or someone wants to go to one of these offices, it lists the documents that you need. So is that one of the goals of your campaign, is to, say, for example, help people get evidence of perhaps crimes that have been committed against them?
Yes, actually, people need to bring application about their situation and documents. I can name the information that should be mentioned in such document. It's for sure first name, last name, address of the person, also number of phone and contacts of relatives, for example, and contacts of this person. And for sure, main part of this document should be the explanation of their situation, what has happened.
But you also need evidence as well, don't you?
Yes, evidence should be added to this application.
And what sort of evidence are we talking about?
For example, pictures, videos, phone calls, recordings, and other stuff that can be useful for for these bodies I have mentioned before that can protect people. And as I told you, we fix several more break-ins of rights. First of all, it's tortures. Because due to Criminal Code of Ukraine, a person who is guilty in such crime can be imprisoned for term from 2 to 5 years, and even more if it is quite hard.
Like a severe crime.
Yes, severe crime. Yes, if, for example, people are forced to be part of Russian army, and we have information that nearly 13,000 people were forced to serve in Russian army. Because they have stayed in territory of peninsula, and they are like citizens of Russian Federation, they need to serve there. But it is prohibited due to the legislation of Ukraine to serve to foreign army, and a person who is guilty, these are military forces of Russia, they can have a sentence from 8 to 12 years of imprisonment. For sure, we understand that it's quite difficult now to sentence such people, but we collect all that evidences and cases and bring them to international court.
This is what I was going to ask you, actually, because often people might think, well, I could submit all this information and not just my details, but the video and audio recordings, but actually in the short term they might not make a difference, but in the long term...
Yes. So actually it's a key issue that we collect such information. Ministry of Justice bring this information to international level, and we have like collective suit against Russian Federation. We collect all that information against Crimean Tatars, against Ukrainians, and we sue like state against other state. But for sure, people can use the method of physical suing when they collect evidences and go directly to European Court on Human Rights and protect themselves. We have nearly 3,000 cases of such measures, and they are on different stage of processing in court. Hopefully they will have success and people will feel protected.
Yeah, and this court is admissible at international levels, a lot of the evidence, is that right?
Yes, actually how a person can apply to European Court on Human Rights. In every territorial department of justice, in Kyiv as well, we have like local offices on a court on human rights. We consult people how to prepare application, how to prepare the SU. We have forms of documents, and in such way we prepare them for international court and to protect their rights, because the role of justice is very specific here. From other side, Ministry of Justice represent state in court. From other side, we help also people to sue, including against state, against Ukraine, Russia, or other countries. So that's why we have two roles. First of all, we help state. In other case, we help people to protect their rights.
Yeah, and it's not just the rights about persecutions, but also about land as well. I can imagine that this is quite a problem. In fact, I even know someone who lost land in Crimea because now that they can't go back there, and the land has been taken over. Is that something you also deal with as well?
So actually, I just want to repeat that we need to fix such cases. So a person should collect evidences, all the document, and apply with such a sue to the court or to prosecutor's office or to police, in order for us to collect such materials. But also I want to mention about some specific rights that have both Crimeans, Ukrainians, everyone. And people don't know a lot about such rights. For example, about land. Every person have right to up to 5 land plots in Ukraine. It includes right of land to build, to have garden, to have a garage for car, and different others. We don't know such a right, and people in Kyiv struggle, for example, for small land plots, but they don't know that they have right for much more land. You need to apply with such documents to local administration in Kyiv or to local administrations or village councils to have such a right.
Is it actually a problem that a lot of people who perhaps had to flee Crimea after Russia's invasion don't have the documents anymore? Or perhaps the documents are still in Crimea and they can't go back? Is there any assistance with that as well?
So actually, Ministry of Justice have started electronic registries from 2013. That one who had luck to be in such electronic register, they have all evidences and the proof that they are owners of such land. For sure, with people who have only paper documents, it's much more difficult situation. But actually, we understand that these documents are there in Crimea. We try to make some responses, some queries to Crimean and to Russian Federation governments to ask for such documents. But we should understand that sometimes we cannot even get any response because some land plots, they were just taken away by new illegal government.
Is actually land one of the most common inquiries that you get, or not?
Actually, we have a lot inquiries because people want to understand their rights. For example, a very important right is also for appropriate level of medicine and drugs. For example, there is a new right. A person can give document on buying, invoice on buying drug and certificate from laboratory that it's not on proper level of quality and give it back to drugstore.
Oh, okay.
It was not possible before. In this frame, also important that people can get free of charge drugs from state. The price of it starts from 50 hryvnias to 900 hryvnias, and the amount of such drugs is now much bigger, and people can find it on a website of Ministry of Health of Ukraine. So, and there are other rights. For example, if a person is not on time on train, on bus, the person can get new ticket. For example, if me or you are late for 1 hour to train, we can ask about renewal of ticket. It's possible. And second case, if, for example, a person had big disease and he or she was in hospital, they can bring documents from hospital and also get back money for ticket or get new one.
Ah, okay. So it's actually all part of a big program. Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming in to our studio. It was great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Stanislav Kutsenko, head of the Kyiv Territory's Justice Department. Thank you for watching UATV and stay tuned for more.